to Marietta. Thank you, David. Welcome. Let's stand and sing. Give thanks to the Lord, our God and King. His love endures forever. For he is good, he is above all things. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise. With a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, his love endures forever. For the life that's been reborn, his love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong. Forever God is with us, forever. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong. Forever God is with us, forever. Forever. From the rising to the setting sun, his love endures forever, and by the grace of God we will carry on. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong. Forever God is with us, forever. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong. Forever God is with us, forever. Now we're going to sing one of the favorites of the church, and Pastor's going to talk about love. What can you sing but love lifted me? I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. But the master of the sea heard my despairing cry. From the waters lifted me, how safe am I? Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me, love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love
shake hands with a few folks around you and welcome them to the service. Tell them good morning. And you may be seated. It is a privilege to have each of you here today. A little bit different this morning than what it was last Sunday. We have a number of families that are away, but we have some folks that are here this morning that you were away last week. And there's something unique about an Easter Sunday. You can't ever duplicate an Easter Sunday. It's even something very hard to follow. But if you weren't here last week, you missed a very special time in the Lord, and God blessed, and you're going to be hearing about that throughout the day. From time to time, I get the privilege of doing things, whether it is performing a wedding or whether it is a baby dedication or receiving church members. I'm going to do something today that I've never had the privilege of doing before, never been asked. But I'm going to, but I need a couple people to help me. So I think I'm going to ask for Pete and Marissa Irwin. Would you guys come up here and join me up here in the front? And for those of you that don't know this couple, you should. They're great people. Pete and Marissa. And why don't you just come over here and stand? And did you think when you came to church today I was going to call you and have you come up front today?
A little bit.
Really? What happened a year ago today?
Got married?
A year ago today, I had the privilege of uniting this couple in marriage. So today is their very first anniversary. So I think that's... Now, just so you know, I don't get in the habit of doing this. I'm going to use that next time. Not these guys. Yeah, I don't think Pete's going to talk a lot. No, I don't think Pete's going to want it. I won't do that to him. But I have to tell you that I don't know that I've ever brought anybody up, made a big deal over the first year. But I really should be talking to her because she survived a year with you, and that's really the whole thing. No, but here's something that is kind of unique though. A year ago today, in this couple, great couple, asked me to perform their wedding ceremony. You got married. Was that in Douglasville where you got married? Villarica. Yeah, and well, okay. I went to Douglasville, and okay. But anyway, they told me where they was getting married, and I drove, and I drove, and I drove, and I drove, and drove. And this little lady in your GPS that says, make a U-turn, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. Well, eventually, when I found this place where they were going to get married, it was an absolute beautiful, beautiful setting. It was just an incredible thing. But anyway, I didn't come to relive that particular day, outside of the fact I did want to congratulate you. But here's why I brought you up, is that a lot has happened to both of you in this last year. Because they weren't attending our church. And after they got married, and we went through the counseling beforehand, and then even at the wedding ceremony, I reminded them, I said, now look, you guys said you would come to church. Well, they went on their honeymoon, and then they came back and they came to church. They came back the next week, and the next week, and the next week. And then they missed a week, and everybody went nuts. Where's Marissa and Pete? They made that quick of an impact upon everyone. But they were just away, and then they came back. It wasn't too awfully long after that both of them accepted Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. And then a few months went by, and not too long ago, they were a part of the large group that I brought into the membership of our church. And so now they are church members. But what I have in my hand, Pete, is a Bible that was selected, picked out by your wife. And in behalf of her, she has invited me to present it to you. And in this book is not only telling you who you are and where you came from, but where you're going and how to get there. And so it is my pleasure today not only to wish you guys a happy first anniversary, and with best wishes and prayer that there's going to be many, many, many more anniversaries. But Pete, this is yours from your wife, and may God bless you as you read it and as you study it and as you learn about this Jesus who died for you and will help you to live for him each day. May the Lord richly bless you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a neat thing to do. There was something that happened in the service last week that few people even know about. And the only way that we can find out about it is to have the ladies share. And so I'm going to ask Kathy Coleman if she will come and join me on the platform. We'll use that this time.
May I call you Pastor Gerald?
Sure. Jerry's
The pastor we were saved under was Pastor Gerald Woods, and I'd like to call Pastor Gerald because this happened under him. I don't know if you're supposed to title your testimony, but this one seemed to title itself. So it's like, Holiness is Healing. The verse I picked, or it was picked for me, actually is from the NIV, James 5:14. Am I too close to that? Is any one of you sick? You should call the elders of the church to pray over him and anoint him with oil in the name of the Lord. I'm sorry, I'm getting a glare. To me, Easter has always been the most holy day of the year. It's the day of new beginnings and healings. It's always been one of my favorite holidays because it's the day I got to wear a new dress, not a hand-me-down, church, and my coveted white patent leather shoes. As special as those memories were to me, none were more special than the one I experienced here in this church last Sunday morning. Following Bob Kuda's inspiring testimony, Pastor Gerald obeyed a calling from the Holy Spirit to keep Bob up here and call some elders of the church up to pray with the church congregation for him. And just as the pastor anointed Bob's head with oil, I felt a warmth come over me. It began at the top of my head and went to the bottom of my feet. It took my breath away. After a moment, it hit me. When I stood up, I had been in pain. I'd been in quite a lot of pain. And there I was standing pain-free. At 38, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus, better known because nobody can pronounce it as lupus. It took doctors 5 years to diagnose this disease. I was happy to finally have a diagnosis because for a long time I was beginning to think I was a hypochondriac. But then the Great Depression hit because we found out that it was incurable. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that attacks my vital organs. It sends all these little antibodies or aliens in that attacks my vital organs and builds up antibodies, or little warriors that attacks the good things, so that when the enemies come in, the viruses and bacteria, there's nothing to fight them. And then I get very sick. On top of it all, I have rheumatoid arthritis. For that, about a year ago, I started getting Rituxan infusions. Now, Rituxan is a chemotherapy drug normally used for lymphoma and is administered in the chemotherapy lab. I get it every 16 weeks. The first week of the infusions, I get one bag. It takes about 4 hours for it to be infused. 2 weeks later, I get the second bag, and it takes another 4 hours to be infused. And then I go back again in 16 weeks. On February 11th, I experienced a complex migraine. I went to my doctor's office, and she looked at me and immediately put me on stroke alert. I went to the hospital, where I spent almost 48 hours being in close observation. The remnants of that headache as of last Easter morning are totally gone. That headache lasted 53 days. Today, I am in absolutely no pain. My lupus has been in remission before, but even when it's been in remission, I've had some pain. Today, I have none. Easter morning, when I stood up and had no pain, I sat back down, and I poked Larry, and he looked at me kind of startled, and I said, "I don't hurt." She looked at me again, "I don't hurt." And I had to go to the altar. I mean, where else could I go? So I came up to give thanks, and his beautiful choir is up here singing all the right songs, and no matter what I said, it wasn't enough. How can you thank God for being pain-free? But all I had to give him was me at that point. He deserved much more, but we can't outgive him. So I just thanked him, and I'm praising him today. As we left the church, I hugged Pastor Gerald and told him I had no pain. I think I blew his hearing aid at that point because I had no pain. I was claiming healing, and I told him, I'm claiming healing, and I want you to claim it with me. And he said he would, and he's been faithful. And we've emailed, several times during the week, and he has been faithful